Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Always helps when the minister unmutes his microphone. So, good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all who are joining us online today. We'll begin our service this morning with a musical prelude from Scott DeVoe. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Reverend Tim Temerson. My pronouns are he and him. Pleased to be weaving worship this morning with music director Scott DeVoe, a little help from board member Renee Brett, and also the wonderful UU Congregation of Charlottesville Choir, who are located in a somewhat unusual place this morning. Woohoo! Yes, indeed. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I now invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute and say hello. Those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
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 Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Please feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are for those who are new to our congregation, and UUCville members and friends are reminded to offer a warm welcome to anyone with a red mug. We also invite newcomers to stop by the connections table near the monitor in the social hall to learn more about us. Seating is also available in the social hall where there's a live stream of the service. Everyone, of course, is welcome here in the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall is a good option. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship, both here and online, greeters, ushers, hospitality and logistics, and of course, the wonderful Rachel Buckland, who is making all of our audio and dual platform stuff work today. And now we have greetings from board member Renee Brett.
Good morning. My name is Renee Brett. Pronouns are she and her. I have been a member of the Board of Trustees. This is my second year out of a 3-year term as a board member at large. We are still working on the long-range planning task force, and they're getting all of that information that you guys provided together. And I was thinking about Jimmy's laundry list of things to get involved in this congregation. And one of the things that really feeds my soul is being a member of the choir. And yesterday we had a small gathering of circle singing yesterday, and it was pretty amazing. So if you like to sing, you don't even have to read music. It's just a really cool experience to meld all the voices together in harmony. Another thing we found out recently is the choir's getting an opportunity to sing at the Nehemiah Action on March 18th. So that kind of brings my love of singing with my love of social justice, as I've been on the Impact team since Greta, I don't know how long ago you recruited me to do that, about 15 years ago probably. But the Monday, March 18th at the Martin Luther King Center for the Performing Arts, they're hoping to get about 1,000 total citizens in attendance. So those of you that can attend now have the extra bonus of hearing the song we sang last week when we're there. So I just wanted to welcome everyone and say thanks for coming.
Thank you, Renee. I have a number of announcements this morning. The 24-25 pledge drive is well underway. Many thanks to everyone who has made a pledge, and I'm very happy to announce that we are over halfway to our goal and have received, I think it's almost $330,000 in pledges. Thank you so very much. Pledge forms have been mailed, and we encourage all who received a form in the mail to complete it and either bring it with you on a Sunday morning, drop it off, or mail it back to the church office. Or of course, you can pledge online by visiting the church website. If you have your completed form with you today, the pledge drive team will be in the social hall right near that beautiful balloon arch, and they'll be there to answer any questions, and they'll be happy to take your completed form. So if you brought your form in today, that's where you can turn it in. If you are new to the UU Congregation of Charlottesville and would like to learn more about us, you can join us for our monthly newcomer circle today at 12:15 in Lower Hall 3, which you get to by going back out there and going down the stairs. I'll be there with several lay leaders for just about a half an hour of relaxed conversation. You don't need to have signed up. You don't need to register. Just get a cup of coffee and a bag of popcorn. We don't have to have those things, but they're nice. And come on down. And and if you have young children, they're welcome to join us, or you can also sign them into the Sunday second hour program. UUPS, this is the UU Parenting Support Group, will be meeting today during second hour in the Blue Room upstairs. Parents with children of all ages are welcome to attend and join in the sharing and discussion of triumphs and challenges. The group typically meets until 1:30, so newcomers are welcome to stop by after the newcomer circle. Also pleased to share that we have a new art show, and our artists are here today. Amanda Grove Hilliard and Marcia Grove. Would you all stand, please, so we can all see you? Yes. Please know that Amanda and Marcia, and I think some other family members, will be here in the social hall after the service. If you'd like to say hello, ask them any questions, they would be delighted to speak with you. We have two really important things going on next Sunday after the service. First, we'll be having the Ministry for Earth team is hosting a sustainable eating potluck after the service. Everyone is encouraged to bring a vegetarian or vegan dish and the recipe so we can share it with others by adding it to our online cookbook. All are invited to join us and enjoy the food, even if you aren't able to bring a dish. In addition, there'll be a green table set up so that you can learn everything you ever wanted to know. Wow, that's a big, bold claim. But you know what? This team is so amazing, I believe it. Everything you ever wanted to know about sustainable eating. So contact environment@uucharlottesville.org if you have any questions. The other big thing going on next Sunday at 12:30, which will be right here in the sanctuary, you're invited to join us for a special presentation called A History of Racism in Charlottesville, A Journey Toward Understanding, led by Freeman Allen and based on his book of the same title. Freeman will share a very compelling slideshow, and those who attend the service online are also encouraged to remain if you'd like to attend. Rachel will hang around and we'll be able to share Freeman's presentation dual platform. And those who want to enjoy, those who want to go to the potluck, go to the potluck, get your food, and I've given a special dispensation to bring your plates in here to enjoy the slideshow. I really don't have that kind of authority, but you know, whatever. So anyway, so please join us for that really, really important program. And then, of course, today, please join us for coffee and conversation after the service in the social hall. So Renee and I would now like to share the call to worship with you this morning from my colleague, Reverend Erica Hewitt. As we enter into this time together, put away the pressures of the world, pressures that ask us to perform, to take up masks, to put on brave fronts.
Silence the voices that ask you to be perfect. This is a community of compassion and welcoming. You don't have to do anything to earn the love contained in this room and in this faith.
You don't have to be braver, smarter, stronger, better than you are in this moment to belong here with us.
You only have to bring the gift of your body, no matter how abled, your seeking mind, no matter how busy, and your animal heart, no matter how broken. Bring all that you are, all that you love, to this time and to this place.
Come, let us worship together.
As the Leonard family comes forward to light the chalice of our, to light the flames of our chalice this morning, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we lived, share together. We'll do our hand motions with our finger as the match and our hand as the matchbook. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of open minds. This is the church of helping hands. And this is the church of loving hearts.
So let's now rise in body or spirit, and let's sing our opening hymn. It's a short one. You really don't need to look it up in the hymnal. It's We Give Thanks. The lyrics will be on a slide on the screen, and Scott will lead us. Scott will sing it several times through, I assume?
Yes, three
Okay,
times.
Three
yes.
times through. So please rise.
We give thanks for this precious day, for gathered here and a far away, for this time we share with love and care. We give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you, thank you. You may be seated. You may be seated. So I wonder if I'd like to invite now our children, the young at heart, to come on down and join me on the red carpet down here. And if you're not a child, but you're young at heart, come on down, please. Come on down. Have a seat. Great. Hi, everybody. Good morning. How are you today? Good, good, good. Excellent. So I want to ask you guys, start with a question, then I'm going to show you a little video, which I think is kind of interesting. So the question is, have any of you ever heard of something called fasting? Yes? Do you know what fasting is?
Stopping eating for an entire day, but at night they break their fast and have a big feast. My friend Ira does fasting.
So the answer was fasting means not eating for a day, but then breaking your fast at night and having a big meal. And it's your friend Ira? And why does Ira fast? Is it, I'm going to take a guess here. Is she a Muslim? She's a Muslim, And Muslims, during a particular time of the year called Ramadan, they choose to fast from when the sun comes up to when the sun goes down. That's right. Yes. Did you have yeah? Your friend is a Muslim? A Muslim from India. Wonderful, wonderful. Do any of the rest of you have friends who are Muslims? Rena? Yep. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. How about in the congregation? Yeah, lots of folks. We are so blessed. Those of us who aren't Muslims, we are just so blessed by the Muslim community and all that they share with the world and share with our country. And we're just so glad that there are a growing number of Muslims who are living here in the United States, which is just wonderful. In fact, we have signs on our doors. Any of y'all ever notice the doors of the leading out of the sanctuary? It's written in Arabic, and it says I believe we welcome our Muslim neighbors. So we want to make sure that everyone who's Muslim knows that they are welcome here. So Ramadan. The reason I wanted to chat with you about that today is because it starts tomorrow. So that means for the next 30 days that Muslims all over the world will fast, if they choose to, between sun up and sundown. As you'll see in the video, you mentioned that they have a big meal at the end of the day. They actually eat a big meal before. They get up really early in the morning and have a meal before the sun rises as well. And you'll see that in the video. But one thing that's important to know about fasting is some Muslims don't fast because they don't want to have fasting. If they're not able to fast, they're not required to. So for example, children generally don't fast. People who are having a baby don't fast, or who have any kind of medical or health reason why fasting might do them harm. So it's for people who are really able to fast, okay? So Rachel, why don't we watch this little movie? It's very, very nice, and it'll just tell you a little bit about Ramadan.
In the 9th month of the year, when the crescent moon first appears in the sky, it's time to celebrate Ramadan. Ramadan lasts one whole month. It is a time to reflect on ourselves, to be thankful, and to help others. During this special month, we eat and drink only when it is dark outside. Before the sun peeks out each day, we have a big meal called suhoor. We fill our bellies with foods that will give us energy all day. When the sun disappears in the evening, we gather with family and friends to break our fast. We eat a date. Then we share a meal called iftar. We fast because we know that there are many people who are less fortunate than us. We appreciate how lucky we are. During Ramadan, mothers and fathers still go to work, and children still play, go to school, and see friends. But throughout the whole month, we think about what is most important to us. We spend time with family. We pray. We lend a helping hand and try to do other good deeds. When the new crescent moon finally appears in the sky, it marks the end of Ramadan. We celebrate with a big feast called Eid al-Fitr. For the next 3 days, we eat and we pray and we give each other gifts. Ramadan may be over, but we will remember what it taught us. We will remember to love our family, pray, and give back to others all throughout the year.
What'd you guys think of that? Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. So Ramadan reminds Muslims to love their families. Thank you. Wow, I agree, to pray and to give back to others. Isn't that wonderful? What an important lesson for all of us to learn and be reminded of every day, every day. So I want to teach you one more thing before you guys go off to your classes. So if you have a Muslim friend or know someone who is Muslim and you want to wish them to have a good Ramadan, kind of like happy Ramadan, you would say Ramadan Mubarak. You guys want to say that with me? Ramadan Mubarak. That means have a blessed or have a wonderful Ramadan. So if you want to say something nice to a Muslim friend, that's a really nice thing to say this month. Okay? Great. Well, thank you all for listening so well. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. And can we now join in singing our children out to their groups and classes? Friends, we are most certainly an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. As is our practice, you are now invited to come forward and place a glass stone in a communal bowl of water as a symbolic act of each being held by the larger love that holds us all. Those online may type their joys or sorrows into the chat. Cindy Benton-Groner from the pastoral care team will also now come forward to help hold the space. Please know that Cindy will be available for a few minutes after the service in the back corner of the sanctuary, right back there, if you are in need of pastoral support or just need someone to listen. Those worshiping online can contact the pastoral care team at pastoral@ucharlottesville.org. Let us now begin our ritual of joys and sorrows. This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of March is for Cultivate Charlottesville, whose mission is to engage youth and community in building equitable, sustainable food systems through garden-based experiential learning, growing and sharing healthy food, and amplifying community leaders while advocating for food justice. Their approach centers racial equity as they grow with students, neighbors, and others working to take Charlottesville from a foodie place to a food equity city where all residents can thrive. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving for those who would now like to make a donation online? In addition to giving online, if you'd like to give today with cash or check, you can please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in them and then place the envelope in the collection plate as it goes by. Along with our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together, our financial gifts and support sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or by going to our website. Here in the sanctuary, you can place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Let us now dedicate all the many gifts we share with one another by saying, we accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good. Our reading this morning is called Song of the Universe. It's written by my colleague, Reverend Manish Mishra Marzetti. Manish and I some years ago served on a UUA committee together, and the last time I checked, he's the minister at our large congregation in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is called Song of the Universe. For each child that is born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Listen carefully. Can you still hear the song? The one sung for you when you were born? The song sung by a cosmos in motion, rejoicing at your life. You, the result. You, the outcome. You, the celebration. Listen carefully. Can you hear it still? A song of possibility, a reminder that we still have time to be who or what we need to be. Listen carefully. The vast expanse echoes a recognition that it's not always easy. Possibilities can be hard to pursue. Roads not taken, wrong turns, destinations that disappoint. But through this, the song persists. The universe sings no less because time and space wear us thin. The music calls us to recognize our limitations, to recognize that the song is best sung with others, here in community, bringing alive that most primordial and original impulse, the impulse to sing to the universe who we are and to celebrate and share our lives with others. Here ends our reading.
My Lord, he said unto me, do you like my garden so fair? You may live in this garden if you keep the grasses green, and I'll return in the cool of the day.
Now is the cool of the day. Now is the cool of the day. Oh, this earth is a garden, the garden of my Lord. And he walks in his garden.
voices of everyone in the choir. Thank you, Kelsey and Georgina, for those beautiful solos. So, I have to say that when I chose the topic for this morning's sermon, I wasn't sure if I'd get much of a turnout. I'm talking about conversion today, and conversion or being converted isn't something we talk much about in Unitarian Universalism. And when we do, it's usually to point out what we're not or what we don't do, rather than who we are or how we choose to journey together. So let me just begin by asking you all a question. How many of you who consider yourselves to be Unitarian Universalists or who attend this congregation regularly have ever described UU or UUCville as a place where no one is going to try and convert you? Anybody ever said that before? A few? Yeah. So let me just say that if you've characterized Unitarian Universalism or this congregation as a religion or a community that doesn't seek to convert people, you are, for the most part, correct. Or at least you're correct if you are using what I would call a very traditional definition of the word conversion. But I want to make the case this morning that we Unitarian Universalists are guided by what I think is a very different understanding of what it means to be converted and to have faith, and that we do indeed seek to convert those who choose to make their spiritual journeys with us. So I think it would be fair to say that the traditional understanding of what it means to convert or to undergo conversion can be found in at least some of the world's major religions. In simplest terms, to be converted or to accept or come to believe in a creed or faith statement. That's generally how we understand conversion. So for example, being converted, let's just say in Christianity, means believing or having faith that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he died to atone for humanity's sins, and that he was resurrected on Easter morning, and that those who believe or have faith in these things will experience eternal life. If you use this kind of definition of conversion, it seems pretty darn impossible to be converted in Unitarian Universalism. As many of you are undoubtedly aware, we don't have a creed or a doctrine that you are required or expected to believe in. In fact, we don't have a single understanding of ultimate reality or a test of faith that one must pass in order to be welcomed and accepted. Instead, we Unitarian Universalists come together around a set of values and principles about how we want to journey with one another and in the world. Most of those values can be found in our current 7 principles or in the proposed Article 2 revision of our principles that will be voted on in June. But it's important to point out that while these values and principles help define and affirm the way we aspire to live in the world, they are most assuredly not a creed that one must believe in order to be saved, accepted, or welcomed in this or any Unitarian Universalist community. So, if Unitarian Universalism doesn't have a single, final, or absolute truth, what exactly do we mean by conversion? Well, the word convert comes from a Latin verb which simply means to turn around, to change, or to be transformed. So conversion in a religious or spiritual sense is about changing or being transformed from one thing to another, from one way of understanding ourselves and the world to another. Of course, that new way of understanding may involve a creed or doctrine. It may involve believing in a god or the gods. But I want to make the case today that it doesn't have to. And then when it comes to conversion, Unitarian Universalism takes a very, very different approach. And if we use a definition of conversion that simply means transformation from one way of understanding ourselves and the world to another, then Unitarian Universalism is most assuredly a religion that seeks to convert those who journey through our doors or join us online. But rather than seeking to convert you to a creed or dogma, Unitarian Universalism begins with each and every one of you, with who you are, where you come from, and what you love. While a creed is the test of faith of many other religions that one is required to pass in order to be saved or accepted, Unitarian Universalism seeks above all else to invite and inspire you to be your authentic self, to believe those things that touch your heart and stir your soul, and to live in a way that brings joy and hope to your life and to the lives of others. That's what it means to be converted in Unitarian Universalism. Now, in order to make our approach to conversion a little clearer, let me just give you a little background. Now, before they came together as one religion in 1961, Universalism and Unitarianism were two distinct faith traditions. The Universalist side emerged in the late 1700s and was a reaction to Calvinism and its vision of a harsh, judgmental God and a depraved, sinful humanity. In contrast, the Universalists affirmed a God of boundless and unconditional love who saves all souls and who views all of humankind as the children of God. This Universalist God did not require that one believe in a creed about who he or what he demands. Rather, the God of Universalism loves and accepts people where they are, no matter what they believe, no matter what sins they may have committed, or even what religion they belong to. While other faith traditions offered conditional love and salvation for some, Universalism simply proclaimed, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, you are loved and welcomed by God. Now, while the Universalists stress this unconditional love and welcome for all, the Unitarian side of our tradition affirmed the importance of freedom, authenticity, and growth. Think for a moment about our famous Unitarian forebears, the Transcendentalists, people like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau and Margaret Fuller and so on. These folks taught us that life at its best is lived from a place of honesty, integrity, and authenticity. They urged us to listen, to explore, and to develop our own truths and our own answers, rather than simply conforming to the creeds and conventions of religion or society. As Emerson once said, the gift of God to the soul is not a vaunting, overpowering, excluding sanctity that is found in many of our churches and our pulpits, but rather a sweet, natural goodness that invites you and I to be and to grow. A sweet, natural goodness that invites us to be and to grow. Now, I know it may sound strange to speak of conversion as being converted to who you are and to finding your true or authentic self. I mean, don't we already accept and believe in ourselves? Who else can I be if not myself? Well, as Emerson and others pointed out, and as far too many of us still experience today, our authentic selves are not always who it is safe or acceptable or welcome for us to be. Think for a moment about all the voices and all the messages telling people that who they are isn't good enough, that who you are is a failure or a disappointment, and that we are going to be punished for not being who God or some earthly spiritual authority thinks we should be. Whether these voices are coming from our friends or adversaries, from culture or society, or from religion or a church, far too many people find themselves weighed down by a terrible burden of judgment that tells them that they aren't good enough or acceptable enough to be loved. So what happens? What are the consequences? How do people so often cope with a world that is quick to judge and prone to reject people based on who they are, what they believe, where they come from, or who they love? We cope so often by living from a place of fear and by hiding or burying our true self and creating in its place a false self. And while this false self may gain us some level of acceptance from the voices of judgment and exclusion, it does so at a terrible, terrible cost. While we pretend to be something or someone we're not, our true self, our authentic self, is driven into hiding and can remain there, I'm sorry to say, for years and sometimes even a lifetime. In Unitarian Universalism, who you are is beautiful, sacred, a blessing, and really cool. We celebrate and cherish the song that is uniquely your own, and we invite and encourage you to listen for and sing that song. We welcome and accept you for the person you are, not the person anyone else or any religion thinks you have to be. Our invitation every Sunday morning is to come as you are and to bring your whole self into this religious tradition and into this community. We want you, we need you to bring your questions and your answers, your beliefs and your doubts, your joys and your sorrows, your successes and your failures, your wholeness and your broken places. You don't have to wear a mask or hide any part of yourself in this faith tradition or in this congregation. We love you for you, not for who anyone says you ought to be. And it is that clear and uncompromising acceptance and celebration of our true and authentic selves that is at the heart of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist and to be converted to Unitarian Universalism. As strange as it may sound, being converted to this religion is about having faith in yourself and responding and celebrating your own worth and dignity. Being converted in Unitarian Universalism is about listening for and acting on the stirrings of your own heart and following your passion and your dreams. Being converted in Unitarian Universalism is about welcoming and celebrating the person you are and the person you yearn to become. I have to say that one of my favorite things as a Unitarian Universalist minister is the Sundays when we have the opportunity to hear from members of our congregation from a pulpit like this one, share their stories. Think about the coming of age service that we have whenever we have a coming of age class. And some of those young people will stand up here and share what's called their credos, their statements of belief that are coming from their heart, from their mind, and from their own experiences. And I think they do this because it's safe. It's a judgment-free place. It's a place where, as I oftentimes tell the youth when they're a little nervous about speaking, I say, hey, you know what? These are your people. They love you. They're going to cheer for you and hug you. You don't need to be eloquent. They don't necessarily even need to agree with you. They just love you for who you are. And every time I experience a service like that, when I'm oftentimes maybe even sitting out in the pews, I just say to myself, this right here, people being able to stand in a pulpit and say who they are and what's in their heart, That is Unitarian Universalism at its absolute best. Now, while we place ultimate value on individual freedom and authenticity, we do recognize, as Manisha's reading indicated, that life at its best is life lived with others and in community. We find truth and wisdom in each other's lives and strength and comfort in each other's company. We understand that the most meaningful journey one can make is the shared journey, a journey rooted in love, acceptance, and respect. We are so closely connected. We are interwoven with one another. We are tied, as Dr. King famously said, in a single garment of destiny. So we journey together, loving one another, caring for one another, listening to one another, and learning from one another. We find meaning in our stories and in our experiences, in our joys and our sorrows, in our hopes and in our dreams. While individual freedom of conscience and belief will always, in my view, be at the heart of Unitarian Universalism, we find the greatest joy and meaning when we are free together, following the light of love, compassion, and friendship. But it's important to remember that Unitarian Universalism's commitment to others doesn't end at the walls of this or any UU congregation. We affirm the dignity and worth of every person, and we believe passionately that the love, compassion, and acceptance we offer to ourselves, we believe passionately that is the birthright of the whole human family. So we take our values and our principles out into the world through deeds of love and service as we strive together to make the world more just and more peaceful. So let me conclude by saying that in Unitarian Universalism, conversion is a complicated, complex idea. I'm guessing it isn't likely to become a common way to speak about our faith or part of your elevator speech. We'll probably continue describing ourselves as a religion that doesn't seek to convert or impose on others. But I, for one, am going to try to find ways of talking more positively about conversion, what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. I know I would be drawn to a religion that welcomes and celebrates people for who they are, rather than condemning them for who they are not. And I would certainly be drawn to a religion that not only celebrates me and my journey, but at the same time seeks to take me beyond my own needs and concerns to the needs and concerns of others. Loving and accepting myself, loving and accepting others. That's the vision. Those are the values Unitarian Universalism seeks to affirm and promote. I don't know if sharing our vision and our values will convert people or convince them to join our faith. And maybe that's not really the point. Perhaps our core mission is not to double or triple the number of Unitarian Universalists in the world, although I'm not against that. I think that'd be great. But rather, maybe our core mission is to share a vision of life that is free from fear, free from the judgment and the exclusion that does so much harm. Perhaps our job is to let people know that no matter who they are or where they come from, there are people in this world who love and welcome them. And perhaps our most important calling is to affirm in everything that we do that for all of the many challenges and struggles in our world, we are ultimately one human family, journeying together on this marvelous planet that is our home. Amen, and thank you so much for listening. Let's rise now in body or spirit. Let's join in singing hymn number 318, We Would Be One. It's a beautiful, beautiful hymn. So please rise. The lyrics will be on the screen. Thank you all so much for singing that beautiful, beautiful hymn. Let me leave with these closing words from one of our former UUA presidents, Bill Schultz. He says, "This is the mission of Unitarian Universalism, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands." Friends, be well, take very good care of yourselves, of each other, and of the world. Go in peace, go in freedom, go in love. Blessed be.